Hey counterparts, welcome to our next session on the Ignite course. And today we're going to be covering social objects. And the solution that social objects solve is how do you nurture your prospects for your joint offer or your distribution chain sort of customers that haven't yet bought if they're not ready to buy? Well, that's what a social object can help you do. Now, every time we talk about a social object, everyone sort of gets confused and gives you the murky eye. It's pretty simple stuff. If you think about the vision of what your partnership's trying to achieve and the impact, it's really simple. It's doing the thing that's the thing. For example, our company partnered with Ernst & Young. It partnered with Ernst & Young to show potential over experience. One of the ways that we brought that idea alive to Ernst & Young's clients and prospects was really simple. We started to run career fairs focused on people getting matched to jobs through our aptitude testing on potential versus experience through Canada. Ernst & Young was the partner of the career fair. It was its own entity. It wasn't our career fair or Ernst & Young's. It was the potential over experience / veteran career fair, and it provided a huge indicator to the market that the proof was in the pudding. Or we're not here to fuck spiders. We're actually just going to get on with it. That's the difference between a social object and, say, a blog or testimony. It's not a discussion. It's the impact of the joint offer and partnership at its loftiest scale coming alive. That social object went from understanding and helping people get jobs based off potential to showing, and through a podcast after the fact with Ernst & Young leading it, that potential really matters and people from really varied and diverse backgrounds actually have tremendous amounts compared to the average person. Those two social objects really unlocked early majority customers that probably would have waited quite a while to see results from our early adopters. Why do they work? Well, really simple. They're gathering points. That's about it. The best thing about a social object, it can take your current customers and prospects can see them live in the flesh. So any way that you're trying to do that with either a prototype or an event like we did that brought the system alive and that brought the joint offer alive is super beneficial with creating proof. The second reason that a social object works versus a traditional marketing campaign is it's pretty tribal. What do I mean by that? Well, it's almost like when you get married and you name your child. It sort of comes from the two of you. So by naming something and then going to do the thing with your partner, you have this second layer of, you two getting anchored in. Your reputation has now just come on the line. You're doing the thing without the sales process. That added layer of energy around bringing the message to the market and showing impact makes people feel super energized, makes them feel like this is bigger than their company's brand. It's now a brand of its own. And that equity really stimulates co-selling, but it also protects you both over the long term because you're really both just doing the thing that's the thing, and people can't attack it, especially those that are in your counterpart's company that are probably doing fucking nothing. Now, this type of thing, say a social object, is probably new to most marketing teams in your counterpart's company. They probably do a traditional content campaign, a traditional advertising campaign, and a traditional thought leadership campaign. And you've come in with your big founder energy and you're saying, let's actually just do the thing that's the thing, and no brand is really going to own it. That is going to set off alarm bells, even in the best counterparts that understand marketing. The entrepreneurial, put your flag down and see what happens, doesn't always land in these big companies. Why? There's a lot of risk. These companies have very few stories. They actually spend a lot of money on trying to keep stories in. So how do you overcome this wobbly point? Firstly, If the joint offer encompasses the loftiest vision that you and your counterpart can think of, and there's already been success with customers co-selling, maybe not the first thing you do, definitely not the last thing you do, this will have no problem landing. I've never seen a corporation filled with people that aren't energized by extremely lofty visions that are delivered authentically, that already have revenue results. So frankly, just be extremely great at getting those first few customers and doing it with the version of the loftiest vision. Where founders can come unstuck is that you hold back. You have to be relentless on the loftiness. Give your counterpart the confidence and maybe take some risk with them and engage in their organization to get there. The second way you can help overcome this wobbly point is be a market voice yourself without the partnership. Time and time again, I don't see founders getting out there until they feel ready to talk about the market and its problems. They just want to talk about their demonstration and their solution. Frankly, that shit's a waste of fucking time. Be a visionary, get out in the market, build your own channel, whether it's an email list, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's a YouTube, I don't care. Just pick one medium, because if you've got a strong following with strong engagement, those sort of corporate comms and marketing types are going to ask the counterpart, why the fuck are you doing this? They're going to be more excited that you've got the numbers that they understand. They're going to be like, we need to do this. You become an ally to them by having your own following. So spend the time on it. It provides a protection of safety to you. It's great for your company's growth anyway. And it can be really, really inspiring to marketers in big companies when you already have a voice and you're not afraid of saying things. Remember, one of the reasons why these big companies like to work with founders is you can say things that they can't say. It's even better and a compounded benefit for them if you already have your own following. Are you going to say something stupid? Well, frankly, just fucking don't, and use the values that you've used to build the partnership on to avoid it. That's a social object, why they're powerful, and how they can be used to nurture customers. Remember, if you've got a social object out there and they're not ready to buy, if they can see that partnership coming to life in the flesh with its vision, its values, and its impact on other customers, it's much simpler to keep them engaged. If they get stuck in your own funnel or your partner's funnel, they're probably going to forget about the joint offer and you'll have to restart the sales process. Social objects are the way to go in keeping them in a constant dialogue on your joint offer and not letting that prospect stray away.